Hi, everyone. Every week on Food Talk with Danny Nierenberg, I'm going to share some updates and news that make me excited, energized, infuriated, or curious. The first I want to talk about is the release of the Make America Healthy Commission report. It was much anticipated on its strategy to improve children's health in the United States. NPR reports that Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says that chronic disease in children is an existential crisis in the United States. And he says that the report's 128 recommendations are historic and unprecedented. According to NPR, the report is drawing mixed reviews from public health and anti-hunger advocates who say that the report's goals are in conflict with recent decisions by the Trump-Vance administration, like funding cuts to scientific-based research on food and agriculture, Medicaid programs, and SNAP benefits. And our friends at Food and Water Watch say that the MAHA Commission is capitulating to big agriculture by not endorsing increased regulation for toxic pesticides. I'll be interested in hearing what food and agriculture journalists like Chloe Sorbino at Forbes and Helena Bottomiller-Evich at Food Fix have to say about the report. They've been following it really closely, and I suggest you check out their websites. Now I want to talk about a new report from the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization that reveals that significant gender disparities persist in sub-Saharan Africa's agri-food systems. The sector is the largest source of employment in the region, employing 76% of all working women and 68% of men. And despite the significant role that women play, they don't have the same access to land, technology, financial and banking services, finance, etc., as men. More than 90% of employed women work in the informal sector, which means that their work is often under-recognized, undervalued, and their visibility and influence in society is very limited. Last year, while 64% of men had a financial account, like a bank account, the same could not be said for women. Only 52% of women had a bank account. And that signals a growing gender gap. In 2011, only 5 percentage points separated men and women who had banking accounts. The gender gap is also seen in food insecurity numbers. While hunger rates have jumped significantly for the entire population over the last decade, 11.2 million more women in the region in sub-Saharan Africa are impacted. But if women are fully recognized as the carriers of culture, knowledge, and social cohesion that they already are, the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization states that unlocking their potential can improve equality while also boosting food security and climate resilience. FAO Assistant Director General and Regional Representative for Africa, Abebe Hele Gabriel, says that the investments and enabling policies are needed to create more formal wage-paying jobs for women, and social protection programs must be expanded to safeguard women's livelihoods. And I couldn't agree more. From here, I want to talk about the very devastating impacts of flooding in northern Pakistan and India. Heavy monsoon rains in both northern Pakistan and India have destroyed hundreds of thousands of acres of cropland in the Punjab province, especially. Over the last month, flooding has impacted at least 4 million people in Pakistan, including almost 2 million people who had to be evacuated. Following some of the most recent storms, farmers found their land submerged in several feet of water and their cattle drowned. And cattle, often for farmers are a source of, insurance or a walking credit card because when crops fail, farmers can, sell their livestock to buy food or to buy school supplies, etc. The Guardian reports that hundreds of thousands of acres of crops have been destroyed, including rice paddies nearing harvest, as well as cotton and sugarcane, crops that farmers rely on for their livelihoods. Across the border in India, Al Jazeera reports that thousands of farmers have also lost their crops. One farmer who watched the floodwaters rise said floods and extreme weather events are becoming more frequent, and the future does not look any better. If the farmers of Punjab, the food bowl of India, cannot even feed themselves, how will they feed others? So sad. While heavy rains are typical during the monsoon season, the United Nations says that the conditions have been exacerbated by the climate crisis. For our next piece of news, while progress on reducing pesticides use in the United States is stalling, There are efforts and progress being made in places like Mexico and France. So, in an effort to promote more sustainable agricultural practices, the Mexican government has banned the use, production, and commercialization, as well as the import of DDT and 34 other pesticides. Julio Bordegue, the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, says that the goal is to establish much stricter regulations because these are products that cannot be used as if they were aspirin. This effort is part of a broader strategy to achieve cleaner, more sustainable, and safer agriculture for both producers and consumers. And I love that. These products cannot be used as if they were aspirin. The ministry plans to announce a second group of banned pesticides in 2026 and another group in 2027. As part of the decree, the government states their commitment to helping small and medium-sized producers find lower risk and cost-effective alternatives. There was also some encouraging rulings happening on pesticides in France. The Paris Administrative Court of Appeal just ruled that the country must overhaul its pesticide authorization procedures. A 2009 European regulation on pesticide marketing states that pesticides can't have an immediate or delayed harmful effects on human or animal health and must not have unacceptable effects on the plants of the environment. But the case brought by five environmental groups argues that the group has failed to protect biodiversity through weak pesticide rules. The court sided with these environmental groups, saying in a statement that there has been an ecological damage resulting from the use of plant protection products. The government has now been asked to review pesticide authorizations that have already been granted to make sure that they meet these new rules. Pollinus, one of the advocacy organizations, celebrated the court's decision, calling it a historic victory. So I'm going to end there on a story that's hopeful. Thank you all for listening. Please email me at danielle@foodtank.com with any comments or suggestions. And please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. It would really mean the world to me. Thanks, everyone.